Hello, 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 everyone. It's been a while since, I've been live. I'm happy to be back. Um, actually planned to do this week, but I actually think I'm getting old because my back was hurting so bad. I could not sit down. So I'm finally on the mend, and I am here today sharing with you guys what I've learned over the past few weeks. Long story short, um, priorities at work changed, and I get to work on this cool new, almost new feature. Well, I mean, almost new. It's not even released yet. So, like, it's a cool experimental feature. That's what I'll say. Um, called Verifiable credentials, and I mean, it's really, really exciting. Like, just to think that we can kind of carry all of our credentials around on our phones using a wallet is pretty dope, if you ask me. Like, I'm thinking about a time where I was late for a flight or almost late for a flight. Actually, if I had actually missed the flight. I missed the flight, but the reason it was because I would have made it, but I was going through Atlanta TSA. You all know how Atlanta TSA is. If you do, then if you know, right? But I get up to the TSA line, and I mean to the TSA person who's checking your ID, and realize that I did not have my ID, my driver's license. I don't have anything. And I remember because this was a while back. I think I was partying the night before, and I had one of those cute little purses, like the ones that don't really fit your whole wallet in it. So I took my ID out of my wallet and put it in that purse so I could get, so I could show my ID if I needed to. And it really had me thinking, like, wow, if I had a mobile driver's license, which is a form of verifiable credentials, if I had a mobile driver's license, I would be able to just pull my phone out and, show my ID, and I would have made my flight that day. But there was absolutely no way. I mean, like I said, I was just on time. There was no way I was going to go. Even if I got somebody to bring me my ID, that line is long. Yeah, it was just a mess. So, yes, I'm looking at different ways that verifiable credentials can benefit us in our everyday life, and also thinking of ways that it really kind of like the folks that try to usurp the system. You know who you are. Not anybody on this call, but it'll definitely bring a stop to that. Like, there's no, like, it totally would, I guess, mitigate like fraud and those types of situations. So I think there's a lot to be said about the future of verified credentials, and I'm really, really excited about getting to learn more about it. And today we are going to go through how to issue a credential using Auth0's VC lab. And we are also going to look at this really, there's another lab here for creating a validator app. I went to that lab and created my own validator app, but so I'll show how to use it. But then maybe the next time I stream, we'll go over like actually how to build it. So yeah, let's get going. If you want to follow along, I will be using the Auth0 lab environment. So you'll need to go ahead and create an account. But here is the lab that I'm following. Oops. Cool. All right, so let me share my screen. All right, so on my screen here, this is the lab environment. If you create an account using manage.auth0lab.com, you'll see this screen as well. Oops, let me put my phone on silent. All right, so also I have pulled up off screen here the issue credentials lab. That is the other link that I put in the chat. It's best to just copy and paste it from the chat. Okay, so the first thing we need to do in order to issue credentials is we need to add a credential template. Now, let me, okay. So we go to the Credentials Lab tab and then go to Issuance. All right, so I've got 2 credential templates here. I'm going to create a new one. Actually, I'm going to, let me go back here. And I am going to delete this one because I'm going to recreate it because this is the one that goes with the validator that I built. So oh no, this is going to be a vaccine credential. Yep. And then we're going to call this Acne Hospital vaccination credential. For description, we could put something simple like this credential certifies that this individual has received the named vaccination. Period. All right, so we'll add that. Okay, so our next step is to implement the pre-credential issuance action. So it's funny because this will be my first time. Well, going through this process was my first time working with actions in Auth0, and I mean I think it's pretty cool. So let's kind of go through how that works. All right, so we go to the Actions tab. And then we go to Flows. And one thing that I noticed that I'm not sure is by design. It seems like we can only have one issuance flow. And that's okay for this purpose, but I do think that it would be nice to be able to have more than one. But either way, let's delete this because we're going to create this from scratch. So this is what you would see if you are just starting out. All right, so we're going to build a custom. Okay, yeah, in here we're going to build a custom. And I'm going to call this vaccination issuance, because I don't think we need to specify the actual vaccine at this step. But if we find out something different, we'll change it. So we're calling this vaccine issuance action. Yes, that's what we'll call it. And yes, it is a pre-credential issue. That's the only option we have. We're going to go with Note 16 because I don't actually think that the docs specify which one you should use, which is actually something I'm going to take a note of because this might be important to know. My question is, what happens if, what's the difference between Node 16 and Node 18 actions? Like, how will that change my result? Questions that need answers, folks. questions that need answers. All right, because I had to write that before I forgot. So, yeah. I guess I could go back and watch the video, but who really does that? Change my results. All right, cool. So let's create this custom action. Now it gives us some code. Oh yeah, because this is for a university degree. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so what I did on these other one here, this other custom one, because I wanted to have one with university that would work with university degree. Oh shoot, how come I can't view it? Here we go. Because I wanted to be able to present both university degree credentials and vaccine credentials. I mean, I don't know in which case like you would want to have both of them in the same action. However, there's a time where you might want to have two separate credentials. So maybe not, university degree and vaccine, but definitely, two separate type of actions. That's what I'm thinking. So I am going to instead just use, for this particular use case, I'm just going to use this vaccine credential. And so I'm going to go back to the flow. I'm going to remove this because this is not exactly what I want. I think I have to create. I have to create it again. I don't think it saved. Oh man, it's okay. Vaccine issuance action. Boom. Good. Oh wait, so where is it then? Huh, that's interesting. Let me see what happens when I exit out, like when I go to a different tab and come back. I don't know. Yep, discard changes. Boom. Let's go back into it. Build custom. No. I don't know why it's not showing up. But I'm gonna call it something else because it's fine. All right. So I'm gonna uncomment this code out here. Oops, did that wrong. It's crazy because I am using a Mac with a Windows external or like wireless keyboard. It's the weirdest thing ever. I do not recommend. I'm actually just gonna get myself the correct keyboard so I can stop making those silly mistakes. 0 out of 10. All right, so we are gonna go with I think it's just vaccine credential. Yep. Okay, so this is basically saying that if the credential is not a vaccine credential, then just don't work return. And we're also taking, okay, we're not going to call it degree, we're going to call it vaccine. So we're going to take the details from the user app metadata. So, and you'll see it because this will all make sense a little bit later in the tutorial. If you can call it a tutorial. Vaccine. All right, and then we're going to add claims. So similarly to like when you are, add an authorization to a user, you add claims. Well, we're going to add claims to this credential as well. Okay, so we're adding the user ID, which is going to be the ID of our user. Very, very, very self-explanatory. Family name, which is the last name, given name, first name. And we're going to call this vaccine. This is the vaccine method. So vaccine.type. And I have to I don't know exactly what the type is right now. Like, I think this will make sense later on as we go to validate. But let's go vaccine.name. Okay, and we've saved. So let me see. Hey everybody that just recently joined. Just kind of give a recap of what has just been done. Or what we're doing now. We're going through the issuance flow for verifiable credentials. We have added the credential template for a vaccine credential. And we've also implemented the pre-credential issuance actions. So, and that's this here. And that's basically like determining which types of credentials to issue. And the next step we're going to click deploy. Okay, we got to deploy this. And then I'm going to add it to the flow. So this is something that I've worked on before. I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to add this. I'm thinking this is the right one. Yep. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to apply it. So, and we got here from actions, the actions tab, and then flows. And when you choose flows, you would go to verifiable credentials issuing. Now, if you want to follow along, the tutorial, like the lab, is in the chat. You can pick that up and you can follow along, or create your own or issue your own verifiable credential. I think it kind of is fun to think about like the different use cases for this. So anyway, next step for us to do so we added it to the flow between start and complete. That's done. We clicked apply. Oh, okay. So we're going to use this wallet called ID Wallet. It's just for this demo environment. Actually, what we're focused on now is trying to figure out a we're trying to figure out some wallet that actually works with verifiable credentials that we can actually use in the real world. So if anybody who's watching knows of anywhere where we can find like someone building a VC wallet or digital credentials wallet, plug your girl because I definitely see some synergy there. All right, so we're gonna go up to settings. No, wait. Yeah. And then we go to advanced tab. Okay, that's right. And then we scroll all the way down and okay, this is already done for me. So we have to enable OIDC dynamic application registration. So yes, this is already done for me, but you'll have to do that. And then we need to promote at least one connection of our Auth0 lab tenant to the domain level. And how you do that is authentication, database. All right, let's select this one. And okay, I think enable for third-party clients. Make sure this toggle is on here. To ensure the connection that you just promoted is enabled for at least one regular application. So let's see, what are applications? Yep, it's on. But I wonder why it's not on for ID wallet. I wonder what happens if we change that. We'll see. We sure will see. That's sure. Okay, and the next thing we're gonna do is add our tenant as an issuer in ID wallet. So, oh, I realize that you cannot see that. Let me switch my screen back. I'm gonna just share the whole window. Oh, professional ganja games. Profession. Oh, professor. Professor ganja games. I was like professional ganja games. Professor ganja games. What's up? Thank you. Happy Friday. Thanks for watching. Okay, so our next step here is to wait. What just happened? Okay, I'm looking for the it's okay, I'll pull it back up. The lab. All right, so now we need to add our tenant as a user in ID wallet or as an issuer. So what we'll do here is we're going to grab this instance, like our domain name. So it will be like for this tenant, it would be lab 645 UI 80 or 80, and that is at or dot auth0labs.com. And then we're going to add that. That looks right. And then request credential page. Is this it? Oh, yeah, look. All right. So, okay. Look, we're going to go back. So we're not going to log in yet because we'll have to log in with our user name and password that we create. I've already created one, but you haven't yet because you're just watching along. So the next step we're going to do is implement display and branding changes. I mean, you can do this, you don't have to, but let's show how we do it. Oh no, we're going to go actually not to branding. We're going to go back to the credentials lab. We're going to go to issuance and we're going to go back to our template. Do we want to actually create a hero image? I don't have anything on me, honestly. So let's just leave those two blank. I've already got one in purple, so I'm gonna actually let's do orange. Just my second favorite color because that's gonna be able to tell the difference between the ones that I previously created and the ones that we're creating right now live. And let's change it to a white color. And okay, so here's where the magic happens. So this is what we're gonna call it. We could change the name if you want. And there's no description that we already set. And these are the properties of this credential. We're gonna save these changes. We can customize these fields if we want. In the tutorial, it gives us these cool things to add to it. So let me just add this. I'm gonna change it from degree to vaccine. So we're gonna say, this may work, but it might not. Vaccine type. Valid vaccine. Oops. Vaccine type. All right. I think this looks good. Save changes. All right. So now we're going to create a sample user. So let's go to users, or is it? No, user management. Here we go. Users. You know, this is the one, Susan at acme.com is the one that the tutorial asked you to create. But let's think of a different name. Let's see. Future self. Uh, I don't even know if that would work. I don't know. I wonder if it'll flag it like an invalid, or maybe it's not. We're gonna. I'm not gonna tell you what my password is. I wonder if it'll flag it. Yep. Password is too weak. I mean, that's smart. I don't even remember anymore. Okay, I'm gonna let me. No, I'm gonna save it. All right, so we've got our user, and we want to scroll down to app metadata, and we're going to add our properties for our verifiable credentials. So we're going to call this vaccine. I'm not a fan of the fact that we're writing code and there's no type of intelligence. I don't know. How do people used to work without intelligence? Type. Oh, okay. So here we go with a type again. All right. So we're gonna call this COVID-19. You know what's so crazy? Okay, so I recently found out that in other countries that they had like a digital credential essentially for their COVID vaccines, but I don't know if it was the same technology behind it or what. I don't know. But as I was presenting the validator app to the rest of my team, one of my colleagues who lives in London, I think, yeah, he lives in London. He was talking about how they had that during COVID, and I'm like, see, that's another thing because we don't even have we didn't have that. We don't have freaking bullet trains. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. What are we going to call this? COVID-19. 19. Credential. Just going with the flow here, y'all. So all right, so click save. And now we're going to try the credential. And you know what? I'm actually going to make a note because in the tutorial, it says verification, which implies that this is a verification step. but it's not. It's still the issuance step, but we're actually like validating that or verifying that the credential is being correctly issued and displayed. I mean, so there's a, I mean, I don't know. There is a explanation which says, okay, I'm gonna keep going down this road. But if you're just looking at this for the first time, you might think, okay, now I'll just be verifying the credential versus issuing the credential, which I think is a little bit confusing. So another note to write down before I go to the next step, though. Let me see. What's that? If you are new here, welcome. Actually, I would love it if you would subscribe to my Twitch because I'm trying to, get more active in streaming. Actually, I was pretty active a few months ago, but like, life happened, ADHD happened, work changes happened, so it kind of like stole my thunder a little bit. But now I'm back. And today we're talking about verifiable credentials. We are going through the process of issuing a verifiable credential. We talk about like cool real life use cases, like for verifiable credentials and a mobile driver's license, which is a verifiable credential. And now we are going through the process of actually issuing a verifiable credential. If you're just joining, I'm going through a tutorial or a lab that is documented in our Auth0 lab docs. And this is the link here. Hopefully you can grab it from the chat. If not, on my YouTube, I will add a link to it so that everybody can kind of go and play around. Now, keep in mind, folks, this is not live yet. This is a lab environment. This cannot go to production. We're just experimenting here and like doing POCs and kind of, trying to be thought leaders in the space. This is very new, very nascent, folks. So. All right, so we've saved this. Let me get back to the tutorial here. All right, so we are in the credentials tab. We'll go back to issuance. We're gonna click this and we're going to click try issuance. Now this gives a QR code, but scanning the QR code would require me having access to a wallet that actually works with verifiable credentials. But the labs team at Auth0 created something called ID wallet for issuance, to kind of go with the Auth0 lab environment. So that's what we're using. Okay, now these are not the ones that are currently, these are not the ones we just created. The reason that they're showing up is because I have created those in the past. So, all right. Let's see, can I request a credential? All right, so let me log in. I'm not saving this. So now I'm authorizing the wallet to access the my lab account. So I'm going to accept that. Okay, so now I see the credential, but what I've noticed is the vaccine type and vaccine field are both invalid. So let's see. Um, let's see why that is. Because we can go into this and see what our properties are and where it's coming back. So it's a vaccine credential. Hmm. I've got my jot. What I don't understand, oh, maybe it's not, maybe I did not specify. Maybe that's what it was. All right. But it does say name unknown and type unknown, even though I'm not going to add it. I'm not going to add it. All right. So let's go back and see what we did wrong here. It seems like it was in the user management, if I had to guess. All right. I'm going to try it again. I know it's still going to be wrong, but I feel like this should be populated. Vaccine type and name. Did I mess this up? Let's see. It doesn't look like it. It looks fine. That's very interesting. So we got the user ID. Let's just try to add it and see what happens. Yeah, it still says, okay. All right. Let's. I don't like it. I don't like it. But this is a valid credential type. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I wonder, because we have the type of name here. Let's go back to the other users, because if I look at the other credentials in this wallet, oops, let's see. Degree type. I think I know. I think I know now. I think we have to go back to the template. Wait, I think. No, that's not it. I think maybe the action might have that template in it. Maybe here. Yeah, this is weird because vaccine.type. You know what? Let me go to this other user because yeah, that should work. I'm really curious as to why it does not. Random. Okay, I'm gonna have to stick a pin in that and try to figure out why the type isn't showing now for whatever reason. Now, this is an interesting use case, or this is an interesting case because what I'm going to have to do is, or what I'm curious about is how this will work in the presentation process, right? Like, will it still validate the credential? Like, will my validator app still validate the credential, even though it's an invalid type, or will it not? This is an interesting scenario. So let's see, because I only got about 8 minutes left. But it's very possible that since the actual vaccine type is invalid, that we might actually not be able to validate it. Anywho, like I said, I'm not going through how I like the whole tutorial for the app today because I'm on limited time, but I will go ahead and I will go ahead and run it. Okay, so in here. All right, so let's go to localhost 3000. All right, so this is very, very, very basic. One of the things I want to do is kind of improve the front end, but essentially what's happening here is, you know how when you click a QR or when you get a QR code or, you know, when you scan, that's what I'm looking for. When you scan a QR code with your phone and it just goes to a URL, well, this button is going to essentially do the same thing. So clicking this button takes us to the URL that we're looking for. And we're going to present this credential. Let's see what happens. This is our new credential that we just created. Okay, it was successfully presented. And Well, I mean, it was accepted. And that's interesting. I would like to learn more about why it worked, actually. But essentially, what we would want to see in this, like in this set of properties here, is what we put in our user app metadata. We would want to see COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccine credential. Now let's try to reset this because I think I have one that actually works. So let's reset it. And we're gonna close out ID wallet. Let's go back. We're gonna go with this one. Present credential. Yeah. Okay, here we see it. There must be something I didn't do right with configuring, but I will absolutely like go in and understand more about what what went wrong in the issuance process. But yeah, this is exactly how it's supposed to show. And now, in the future, what I want to do is kind of make this UI a little bit more aesthetic, and kind of, play with some React. I'm a .NET developer, but I've just recently started reacclimating myself with JavaScript. This application was built using Next.js, so that's what the lab portion is, demonstrated. So I'm gonna have to become a React girly. So you know what? That's probably what I'm gonna start streaming about because, yeah, a .NET girl in a JavaScript world. But yeah, so this was a overview of how to issue credentials and how to validate those credentials using the validator app. As a matter of fact, maybe like I said, the next time I stream, which will probably it'll be sometime next week. I'll go over like the process of creating that validator application, because one thing that we do predict is that the majority of people who use verifiable credentials will going to be the validators and not necessarily the issuers. So that's kind of the first case that we're going to explore. So yeah, if you enjoy digging into verifiable credentials with me and you would like to continue down the road and learn more, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I'm Black Girl CTO. And also on Twitch. I think, what is that? Just twitch.tv/Black Girl CTO. Boom. That's me. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me. And whatever questions that you have, feel free to hit me up, because like I'm learning this, and if this is something that you're interested in, because it's like super cool and it's like the new wave of sovereign identity and decentralized identity, where you can own your own credentials regardless of whose system is down and so forth and so on. Like if you see this as the way of the future, like I did, come down the road with me, explore with me, because we're going to get deeper into this as our labs continue to build out, as we continue to put more great minds to it. I believe this is going to really grow and really pop off. So join me for the ride. All right, y'all. Until next time, which will be next week. Peace.